Good evening, USC. Woo! First off, I just want to say how nice it is to have the first in-person baccalaureate ceremony in over 3 years. It's so nice to be back. It's so nice to be back in person and see everyone's beautiful faces and have everything kind of back to normal. You know things are coming back to normal when USC raises their tuition again. Sorry. It's only a 5% increase, I said the same thing to my professor about my final grade, but they didn't see the increase as marginal as I did. On that note, I'd like to thank President Folt and the university trustees for the honor and possibly the last time speaking here at the baccalaureate ceremony for the class of 2022. I'd also like to thank the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, and of course, I'd like to thank Dean Stoney for not only inviting me here today to speak tonight, but for being a profound professor and mentor these past 4 years. When Dean Stoney first invited me to be speaker over 2 months ago, I was honored, but a little surprised. I was raised Buddhist and was involved in many things here at USC, but I wasn't the most involved in religion or spirituality. I also certainly didn't possess the most stoic or profound realizations of many of my peers who were part of religious and spiritual life. But Dean Stoney was sure of his decision and told me in his wise and prolific manner, all I want to hear is your story. And so, tasked with this huge honor and responsibility, I did what USC students do best. I waited until the last minute and prayed for a miracle. I guess the process was a little more religious than I thought. That is what I aim to do today. Tell my story to the graduating students, parents and friends, and people who thought they would get some free food if they came to the ceremony. Okay. I was born into a family of bakers. Banh Mi Saigon, represent. Baguettes, croissants, egg rolls, banh mi, pâté chaud. It was an upbringing full of carbs that made me very chubby as a kid. I saw my mom and dad, not in suits, but instead covered in flour and sugar, running a business that would sustain my childhood joy and wonder. It was a good childhood. And every Sunday, we would go to our local Buddhist temple in Little Saigon, Orange County, California, and pray to the Buddha and to our descendants and eat some pretty good vegetarian food. That was the core of my faith and spirituality. Spending time with family, breaking bread, and believing that good things would happen to us if we had faith and were good people. But what happens when bad things, horrible things, happen to good people? How do we have faith then? That's what I thought when my older brother was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I saw my brother become a shell of his former self, and I saw my parents, who had been so strong and resilient their entire lives, fall apart from confusion and agony. And as my brother and parents navigated receiving help and knowledge about this illness, I watched, too young to be of any help and too old to forget the trauma of losing my older brother. While my brother was in the psychiatrist's office, I was in the waiting room, playing with old toys and figurines used by many past siblings, navigating what it all meant. For me, that meant confusion, frustration, and unfortunately a lot of anger. I loved my brother, but I couldn't understand what happened. And I grew angry, feeling powerless and succumbing to a fear of navigating this new relationship with my family and brother. When it came to our Sunday dinners and visits to the temple, we would go through the same routines. We would eat, pray, but for me, things felt different. I wondered how we could pray and have faith and do good things when time after time after time, all we saw was suffering. And as a result, I began to not only lose faith in my Buddhist faith, but also in the world. I couldn't grapple with suffering, the unfairness of good people that I love suffering for no reason. I lost faith, and I seek to fill this void with other things. School, grades, accomplishment, success, validation, these external things made me very successful on paper, which is probably the reason I got into USC. I did the same thing when I came here too. I worked hard. I sought the validation of success, status, intelligence through titles of merit and accomplishment. Most people, when they think of me, they're quick to comment that I am everywhere, I do everything, and everyone knows me. But do you know the secret? I had no idea what I wanted. I thought that if I did these things, I could make up for my brother's loss of opportunity to attend college. I felt that if I could go to college for both of us, and then maybe then my parents would be okay. It was the if I do this, then everything will be fine sort of mentality that drove me. It is a path that can be exhausting. All of this was because I had a loss of faith in the world. When we lose faith, everything goes dark. We lose our humanity in ourselves and others. We become selfish. We forget that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. That's what I did, and I felt so lost. I succeeded, overachieved, said yes to every opportunity, but I still felt like a boat lost at sea, continuing an endless journey to nowhere. But the special part about USC and college is that you can come in broken, lost, and for all the wrong reasons, but you're in the right place to change your mindset in life. I met amazing people at USC, good people. People like Dean Stoney, a man of limitless Zen listening ability who did something that I needed more than anything, someone just to listen to my story, who helped me not find the answers, but ask the right questions. Who am I? What do I want? How can I find purpose and meaning? How can I help my brother and my family? Simple questions, but those are the questions that we need to ask during these times of change and crisis. I tell this story as a reflection to some of our fears in the world. These past 4 years have been nothing short of apocalyptic. So many things have changed. We went from our classrooms on campus to our childhood bedrooms on Zoom, back to our classrooms, and then back into those little rectangles on Zoom once again. And not only that, we had a lot of personal changes as well. Our relationships, our studies and passions, even our identities. And when we go through change, we find nothing but frustration, suffering, and despair. It's easy to lose faith. Faith in our world, faith in our government, faith in our university. I know I have. But if we go through life without faith, we will continue to view the world and its challenges through the sole lens of ourselves. We do it all the time. When we go on Zoom, the person we watch the most on camera is ourselves. We are all part of something, but we are all part of something larger than ourselves. It's easy to lose sight of this in a world where individual excellence is valued overall. And we enter tomorrow, and the real world, with the credibility and prestige of a college degree. We must remember that this amazing accomplishment would not be possible without the world around us, with the people around you today. It is not possible without the love of others. And that is why faith is so important. In the words of David Foster Wallace, we all worship something. So why not have faith in our love for each other? My parents showed me this love in different ways to me. My father, the hardest working and most determined person I know, never lost faith in himself and the ability to do better for not only himself, but the family that he loved. Starting off in this country as a Chinese food waiter to opening countless bakeries across California. Showing me the power of faith to carve your own path in life, regardless of your circumstances. My mother showed me the faith and love. If there's something I've learned growing up in the Vietnamese immigrant household, is that we do not say I love you enough. It's all, Con ơi, con ăn cơm chưa? Which means, son, have you eaten rice yet? This is the universal question asked to immigrant children that said, I love you in every way possible, other than the actual words itself. But my mom showed this faith and love to everyone. Everyone that came into the bakery, my mom would feed, no hesitation. She taught me the power of this faith and love a couple weeks ago, when an older lady came into the bakery looking to pay. Her son was mentally ill and homeless, and he roamed the streets of Huntington Beach and frequented the bakery often. And every time, my mom would make sure he was well-fed and had someone to talk to. So when this older woman revealed herself to be the mother and offered to pay back for all the banh mi's and egg rolls and waters my mom gave, my mom refused, sharing her story and her faith and love, and asked that the only payment to be for this lady to come by every once in a while and say hi and to love her own son. And so while I was at USC searching and learning for all the answers to the world, the realization I've had is that all the lessons I needed to live a flourishing life were right at home. I was getting schooled every day by my parents. I didn't even realize. So I challenged the class of 2022 to have faith. Faith in ourselves that we don't have to be okay. Faith in ourselves that we can figure it out together. And faith in our love for each other. And with that note, I want to say I love you to all of you. I love you, USC. I love you, Dean Stoney. I love you, students. I love you, Man Ba. I love you, Rihanna. And board trustees, I love you too. And to my brother, Vu Win, who's here today, I love you so much. You brought a lot of joy and love into my life, and I'm not here today without you. And so to end the speech with some faith and love, I want everyone to yell from their heart to the person you love. Everyone. I love you. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I love you! Class of 2022, bless you, choose love, and fight on.